Happy Friday! We've made it to Friday, and not only Friday, we've also made it to May 1st. And next Friday we will be done, and you all will officially be becoming 7th graders and moving into your summer break, a very nice long summer break. So, we have some work to do to finish up in Bible. So today we're moving on to the book of Hebrews, which is the next book in the Bible. And we're also going to be, I'm going to look at that together with you right now, just to give you a few things about Hebrews to know. And then I do want you to watch the video that has about a 7-minute teaching on Hebrews, and it's really good. Something you need to know is that the church that has produced the video you're going to watch, they are from up in Canada. And so when the gentleman talks about his job as a snowplow driver, it's because he plows a ton of snow, because he lives in Canada. So, and you'll notice his accent is a little bit different. But, and he also talks about kilometers instead of miles. So watch that today about Hebrews. But before you watch that, I want to tell you a couple of facts about Hebrews. They're right here on the screen. We don't know who wrote Hebrews. Bible scholars are not sure. Was it Paul? Was it Barnabas? It's not clearly said at the start of the letter. Most of the letters we've read so far are very clear. Paul says that it's he himself who's writing it. So we don't know who wrote it. The other thing is this is longer. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, those were shorter letters, 5 chapters, 3 chapters, 4 chapters, but this one is 13 chapters long, and it is written not to Gentiles who become Christians, but it's written to Jewish believers, and it's encouraging them in their Christian faith to not go back to Judaism, but they have this new life that they now have in Christ. And so it's very, it really, in the first half of the book, or actually even more, it really focuses on how Jesus is the Messiah that was promised. And so there's a lot about Judaism, or the belief of Jewish people, Judaism. That's what you call that. That is what's talked about a lot in the book of Hebrews. And then the last couple chapters, 11, 12, and 13, are very practical. Now, Hebrews 11 is one that we've talked about, I think, in class, and you probably have heard of before. It's called the Hall of Faith, and it is a chapter devoted to just going through the Old Testament, looking at the faith that different men and women showed in different circumstances. So, you know, it talks about Abraham, it talks about Noah, it talks about, well, it starts all the way at the beginning with creation, and it talks about Abel and Enoch, and it talks about Isaac and Joseph, all these patriarchs, these important people who were part of God's plan as it unfolded in the book of Genesis and then on through the Old Testament. So it ends in chapter 11. It says, "So all of these were commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised. God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect." And so then he goes on to chapter 12, which you're going to hear about in the video that you're going to watch in just a few minutes, and it's just a beautiful passage and very encouraging. So I'm going to read it to you. "Therefore, since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run, excuse me, you guys, let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinful men, so that you won't grow weary and lose heart." So a beautiful passage, is very encouraging, and I will let you all listen to what he has to say on the video about that verse, those verses. So that's the book of Hebrews, distinctly written for Jewish believers and filled with just a lot of encouragement for all of us. Now, on to your project. So you do have a project to do for me, and it is right here. It's called the Paul's Letters Project, and it is due next Wednesday, May 6th at midnight, 1 minute before. And it's worth 2 test grades. And you're going to decide, the first thing you need to do is decide what kind of project you're going to do. Do you want to do kind of like a YouTube channel show that someone videos, or you can videotape yourself just on a phone? Or do you want to do a PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation? You have Google Slides available to you by going, let's see, when you are in your inbox, you go up into the little corner and there's where those dots are. You click them and there's Google Slides. And Google Slides, it looks like this little funny little yellow like that. That's what Google Slides icon looks like. So you can make a Google Slide or a channel, YouTube channel. So YouTube channel would be, you know, you pretending to do an interview, or you being a reporter, or you teaching a lesson. It could be any of those things, or something else creative that you think of. The video needs to be between 3 to 5 minutes long. 3 minutes is the minimum, 5 is the max. And then your Google Slides presentation, if you do that, it needs to be 12 slides. And it needs to be nice and neat and in order. It needs to be colorful with some photos. Obviously, it's going to have text on it and images. So you have to decide what kind of project, which of those two you're going to do. And then the second step is you need to include all of the basic facts about Paul. And right here, I've given them to you. Here are basic facts about Paul that I've put this little section here, okay? And you can discuss those in your own words, present them in your own words in your project. But you need to have those facts about him. And then you have, you need to do 2 of the 4 books of the Bible, and I put those down here. So it starts with Galatians, and you'll see I've got a section that's background, and then I have important verses that we've talked about the last 2 weeks. And then I have Ephesians, I have Philippians, and I have Colossians. So there are only 4. I'm giving you the information. You are just going to present the information to me. So in your project, you need to tell me about the background of the book, and also you choose just 2 of the verses. There are several verses, and you're going to tell me about those verses, what they mean to you. I've written a little bit about them, but I want you to kind of talk about those verses and why you think they're important. So if you have questions, I'm going to make a tab. You'll see it today when you've opened up classwork. There will be a separate tab called the Paul's Letters Project. And under that, I'm going to have a place where you can just ask questions, because probably the questions that you ask someone else is thinking too. So I found with my other classes, if I have a spot for that, then everyone can just kind of look there first to see if some of their questions are automatically answered. So have fun doing this. I am looking forward to see what you all create. You all do need to have it done by next Wednesday. So this right here will be up today. You can, I'll attach it right here under classwork, but it also will be attached as its own separate tab, Paul's Letters Project. And so I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your last weekend of having any schoolwork hanging over your head. And enjoy this video on Hebrews. God bless you guys and your families.